I've got 3 good side hustles that no one is talking about that can earn you as much as $100 per day or more with just some very basic finance skills that anyone watching this video can do. You just have to put in a little bit of effort to execute it. If you've ever met any small business owner, you may know that a lot of them are great at the specific market that they fill, but they don't really enjoy the financial reporting side of their small business. It does not take any pre-qualifications to become a bookkeeper and start offering services to small businesses where you're just doing basic data entry of some of their financial statements into QuickBooks. Spend just a little bit of time learning the basics of QuickBooks and you will likely know enough to fill about 90% of the need of what many small business owners are looking for in a bookkeeper, just keeping their journal straight. Consider someone who maybe makes furniture and sells it in a small shop, or an auto repair mechanic who fixes cars 50 hours a week and really doesn't want to deal with the accounting side of the business. If you have 2 fingers and have seen a financial statement before, you will be able to plug some line items into QuickBooks about sales and revenues for each job that mechanic did, or you'll be able to plug some cost numbers in to track the cost of the materials that the furniture maker used to build the furniture. You can basically put together their income statement and balance sheets. It's very common for a bookkeeper to charge $100 a month to any small business they service, and that is only for covering the most basic types of responsibilities a bookkeeper can do, like plugging line items into income statements and saving records in QuickBooks. You may only have to spend 2 or 3 hours per month with each of your customers, and that may be all the service that they are looking for out of a bookkeeper. So if you can get 5 or 10 customers, you're making $500 to $1,000 a month for relatively little effort on your part and relatively little time to earn that kind of money as a side hustle. After learning the most basic functions in QuickBooks, the only other variable to getting this type of a side hustle off the ground is finding a handful of small business owners who want to pay you $100 a month for your bookkeeping services. Trust me when I say bookkeepers are in demand right now. You can put some ads up on Craigslist, Facebook, or other online marketplaces. You could print out some flyers from websites that will cost you like 25 cents a piece. You can send out email blasts or cold call small businesses and just ask if they have any need for a low volume, low cost bookkeeper. Finally, you could spend 30 minutes a day driving to 3 different small businesses on any relatively populated highway in your area. Walk up to the front desk and say, hey, is the owner looking for any bookkeeper services? $100 a month, and I can handle all of your data entry. If you grind just a little bit in any of these avenues, you could very easily, in my opinion, find 5 to 10 customers. And if any of your online ads became relatively successful, you might find yourself with far too many customers for your bookkeeping side gig, and it may end up becoming your main job, even if you didn't want it to, so be careful. The second finance-related side hustle, I personally know 2 people who are having a lot of success doing this, and that is in tutoring. Now, one of the beauties of tutoring is that you can tutor people on just about anything. So let's say you're not even all that smart of a finance student yourself. Well, you probably had to take the SAT to get into the college or university you're at, and as long as you did better than a 1200 or something like that, there are millions of high school students out there right now who are scoring below 1200s, and I'm sure their parents would love someone to help them score better than that. As an SAT tutor, you can often charge between $50 to $100 an hour. So just for putting in 2 hours a month, you could easily be earning an extra $100. And of course, that can scale pretty quickly once you have a handful of other students signing up for your SAT tutoring courses. The other example that I know of, because I'm a CFA charter holder and I talk about the CFA program a lot on this channel, was a CFA tutor who was charging $200 an hour. He was limited in the amount of new students he could take on just because of the amount of hours he was working. So he was earning over $100,000 a year just tutoring CFA students. You don't have to take this side hustle to that type of an extreme though. It could be a simple certification in whatever field you are familiar with. It could be a licensing exam for a financial advisor like myself. Not to mention acquiring customers or students to tutor in this case can be even easier given the fact that there are many third-party websites who exist solely for the purpose of parents finding either partially or mostly qualified tutors to teach their kids how to get better at certain things that they know they need to. I will say here that you can't be a jerk or a loser. You have to be somewhere in between the loser side of the spectrum and the jerk side of the spectrum as far as ego goes. So you have to actually be able to communicate to young people and help them learn. So even though you know how to do something or you might be really good at something, it does require a little bit of skill towards being able to work with somebody else and teach them that thing. Personally, I don't feel like it's all that difficult to be a relatively efficient teacher. Now, yes, to be a great teacher, it takes something special, but you can still have a successful tutoring side hustle just by doing some of the basic things I've described here. And if you're ever curious, I do offer CFA study coaching, not content-specific tutoring. Like, I'm not gonna teach you the material. I think the third-party test prep providers do a better job at that than I could do, but I offer study coaching to help build your plan and follow along through your plan with you to make sure that you're getting yourself well prepared for that test. But it's not cheap. Check it out on my Patreon page if you're interested. Finally, I'm gonna use a personal example here. I'm earning a little bit of money for each and every one of you viewers watching this video right now. I don't know why there aren't more people talking about starting YouTube channels when the topic of side hustles comes up. I'm definitely not a genius, and I'm not doing anything all that special on this YouTube channel. I just sort of talk about news and tips and tricks about the CFA program, things that have helped me and helped other people. Yes, I had to pass all the exams to finish that, but even if I had never become a CFA charter holder, I'd probably just be doing more content about my job as a financial advisor. You can literally sit down in a chair with a $100 camera or just the camera on your smartphone and talk about the pros and cons of what you do for a living, the different things that affect your job or what people might want to know about your job, how to get into your job, how much money your job pays, how difficult is it to switch jobs, you know, anything that relates to what you do at least 40 hours a week of, just talk about it. Let people inside of a certain profession that may be even partially interesting to them, and you could earn a lot of money doing it. I would consider this YouTube channel relatively small. I'm earning conservatively a little more than $1,000 a month on average now from uploading these videos. So if you have a popular YouTube channel, you can certainly make that a full-time job, but even as a side hustle, just talking about what you do for a living and putting a couple of edits over it can make a lot of sense. The caveat here is that this third side hustle probably requires the most time, in my opinion, just because you need to learn how to use a video editing software and you need to be able to cut the videos up, upload them to YouTube, make a title, thumbnail, all that, put it together. It can be fun though too, so it doesn't always just feel like work, and like I mentioned, you're getting paid along the way. While your YouTube channel is very small, you're gonna have to do a lot more building and there won't be any money to be made, but it definitely will get to a point in a matter of a year or two, only putting in a handful of hours a week, that it can become something that makes a difference in your personal finances. Plus, with a YouTube channel can come many other avenues of revenue, like commissionable sales. If you're someone who reviews products that you like to use, you can get commissions from Amazon links in your description. Maybe you push a Patreon page like I just did a little bit ago. Go check it out. Maybe you're one of the thousands of people on YouTube who sell t-shirts and earn pretty good margins on that. So even though you get paid ad revenue for uploading YouTube videos, once you have a following, it can create other avenues of business that can also become side hustles of their own. So the opportunities are really vast with uploading YouTube videos. Not to mention your following. If you're talking about what you do for work or what you do as a hobby, your following is going to be a community of people that are very similar to you, or at least have one very similar interest, probably more than that. So it can be a good group of people to communicate with, work with, which in turn ends up being very rewarding for you. So I think it's a very cool side hustle to pursue. If you're someone who watches this video and ends up starting any of these side hustles and it's working out for you a little bit, send me an email to the email linked in my bio. I'd like to hear about your story and maybe talk about it on the channel, because it's just all too easy to make a financial difference in your life by spending a few hours a week in the evenings on a side gig. So I'd like to hear about anyone who is able to implement those things and change their financial picture in their lives for the better. I know I have so far with this, and I don't plan on slowing down anytime soon. As always, thanks for watching.